Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Ottawa. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Brian David Marshall and Ben Stark, and we are underway in the finals. Neal Oliver, Grand Prix champion and Grand Prix runner-up, against Seth Manfield, who had 2 chances to win GPs, won them both. Last 2 times he was in the finals. He's won in limited and modern, I believe, so he's a complete Magic player is Seth. Neal is more of a limited specialist, at least by his resume. His finals and victory were both in limited events. And not a great start here for Manfield. No red mana and no turn 1 or 2 play. Wow.
No, and this is what really can't happen to Seth. Because
this can't happen.
No, if he falls behind, he's not going to be able to, swarm through Neal.
And the old desperation defiant strike here.
Found a mountain, though.
Okay, well, this could get him right back in the game. Seth Manfield of the United States.
With the Canada sleeves.
With the Canada sleeves. And it's a Bloodfire expert. It'll be really interesting to see how the rest of this game plays out from here. Once Neal gets a really good sense for what Seth Manfield is up to, he's probably going to have a significantly different line than he will in this first game. Manfield's considering a block, but he can't really block, right? Like,
I don't know. I don't know how he can win this game making trades.
Yeah, he can't make trades. He's going to fall way behind. So he doesn't.
Sometimes you have to make a trade, but I don't know what Seth's... I mean, it's really hard for Seth's deck to win if he falls behind. Like, I know on paper with their perfect draws, Seth's deck does beat Neal's, but if he falls behind like this at all, I mean, he could win this game, but it's tough for me to envision exactly how it's going to happen.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, Bloodfire Expert gets Crippling Shield on upkeep there from Neal Oliver, so that's going to keep that thing on ice for a couple of turns in a row. And let's see what Seth can do.
Looks like he's got a Horned Outburst ready to get fire off.
Okay, that's a good start to getting himself right back in this game. After
and he found the second mountain.
Yeah.
He is running 9 mountains in the deck, so.
All right, so Hordeling Outburst it is. Let's get some tokens. He was really hoping to be able to get a trigger from his Bloodfire Expert there, too, to get in for extra damage, but not to be.
Yeah, and one of the ways he can win that we were talking about is the barrage of boulders with the Monstrous, and he has the 1 Bloodfire Expert. So if he can get in some damage this game, he might be able to barrage for the final 12 or something.
Okay.
Neal's deck is not fast.
Not at all. Very clunky. It is funny,
and again, Seth can't, a lot of times you do, you play Hordeling Outburst, and you're like, okay, put 2 guys in front of a morph, or you can't do that here.
No. I mean, imagine, right, like if on turn 6, Neal was able to, or Seth's able to barrage and then attack and then Trumpet Blast. With just this board, that's already 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16 or so damage. I'm pretty sure he can put out the 1 additional guy between now and then. I don't know if he has all of those cards.
Right.
So face up Mystic of the Hidden Way for Neal Oliver here. Yeah, can block a token. Let's see what Seth Manfield comes up with. I know he's got a Leaping Master, at least one of them in his hand. He's really deep in the tank here.
I feel like his deck is very much surprise I win all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
You just got to be on a razor's edge constantly if you're Neal Oliver.
Yes.
It's going to be an utter end.
Yeah, it is.
And I like that. He's got to get through some damage.
So here's the damage starting to flow now for Seth Manfield as he battles for 3 to drop him down to 18. Pass the turn back. Now, one interesting thing that could happen here too, guys, is remember Neal Oliver does have 1,000 wins in his deck. And if he can get to the point where he's got that down with the mana up, it really does blank those 3 mass pump spells that Seth Manfield has.
Neal could be dead next turn.
Yeah, but that's definitely a way Neal...
Oh, Tusk Colossal.
I'm not sure how that guy found his way into the deck. But,
how did that guy make it in?
Yeah, I don't know. But one of the ways Neal could definitely win, Seth stuttered a little in the beginning, so, he's not going to kill Neal before he hits land drop 7. So if that morph is 1,000 win and it bounces all those tokens, I don't see Seth recovering from that.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to come back. So there are ways for Neal to interact with because he's got a lot of individual Crippling Chills, Force Away, Set Adrift type stuff that's not great against Seth, but 1,000 wins against tokens, wow, could be a huge blowout. And Neal's a conservative player. Like, he's not going to take big risks if he can avoid it. He's going to try to set up the right turn.
And along the lines of that, he sent this morph, and he never blocked with it. I don't know if he had the opportunity to block with it, but he didn't. I think he Crippling Chilled rather than leaving it up to block Bloodfire Expert, and now he attacked with it rather than leaving it up to block. So I think he's represented this morph as a good card.
I think so too.
If this is
not wanting to risk it.
Right. It would not surprise me if this morph was 1,000 wins. If this morph was something like a Dragon's Eye Savant, I think he might have played a little bit different of a game, leaving it up to block the Bloodfire Expert instead of crippling chilling it and things like that.
Totally. He could just flip it up if something bad happens. So, that makes good sense.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was the 1,000 wins.
Now, he's got the land in his hand, too, so he can play it. And this game gets pretty interesting if he does. Does he start just bashing with the Colossedon and just leaving it back? Like, how does that work out?
Yeah, I think, I don't know Neal's hand, but I think I like an attack with the Colossedon.
Okay, right, well, that's interesting.
I no longer think it's 1,000 wins.
Yes. Everything you said made sense, and now this attack changes that a little bit.
It still makes sense if it's just a good creature, that he didn't want to trade it for the Bloodfire Expert and all of that, and not that it's like a Dragon Eye Savant. So I don't know too many other big morphs he has, but if it was
he doesn't really have a lot of them.
No, but if it was like a Glacial Stalker or something, this would also make sense. I would just be surprised if it was something. You know what else it could be? It could be an Ice Feather Raven.
Yeah.
That's a morph that he wouldn't want to trade off early.
There you go.
And that, has value late.
All right, so a nice sequence here for Oliver. He set adrift the Leaping Master after getting in with the morph. He's got the Colossedon back.
You see that there is a Russia Battle in hand for...
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Now, no warriors on the battlefield, though.
I'm not sure how much I love that turn by Neal. I mean, could he maybe have attacked with the Tusk Colossedon?
You'd think so. That would be the thing. Like I said, he's quite conservative, though. He will usually hold back as long as he can.
So much more damage. I mean, the Smoke Teller trading with the Bloodfire Expert is good for you. I think you could keep the morph back to block the 1/1s. Probably send the 6/5 instead of the morph. So much more damage.
So let's see what Neal has lined up for this turn. He's got Seth down to 14, slightly ahead in the damage
Seth
race.
has the combo in hand.
Which is?
So he has a
Barrage of
Boulders and a Russia Battle in hand.
Oh, so if he draws land 7,
if he draws land 7, unless that's Ice Feather Raven, in which case he can bounce the Bloodfire.
Turning off
the Ferocious trigger.
Right.
Yeah. And if by some weird way it is still 1,000 wins and Neal's got 7, then that also works too.
Yeah, that's one.
I'm pretty convinced it's not 1,000.
Yeah, I am too.
Well.
I am too. But we got to explore all the options.
It could be one of those other morphs that I didn't think it would be. It could be Ice Feather Raven. That would make a lot of sense.
Now he has just passed the turn back here. Again, choosing to leave back the Colossedon.
Did he have anything to save it if Seth blocked? Maybe he didn't want to represent 1,000 wins. I don't know. It's not impossible. I think my money's on Ice Feather Raven.
That seems good.
All right, this looks like Russia Battle.
And Ice Feather Raven's pretty good here but Seth actually doesn't have enough mana right now to do both plays,
No, it looks
right?
like it's a High Spire Mantis.
Okay. And he just ships the turn back. So Seth's really trying to be patient. Every body he has on the battlefield counts so much more in a deck like this. A lot of times you just get kind of flippant with your goblins. You're like, yeah, sure, I get 3 or 4 damage and I'll sack a goblin for that. But here it's much different because he's really trying to set up these Trumpet Blast, Rush of Battle shenanigans.
Now the Colossedon gets going.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm being weird here, but I think I would have probably been sending this Colossedon and holding back the morph or not, because trades favor you. I mean, you can stop the 1/1s with the 2/2. You could even have 2 2/2s back in case he kills 1. 6 is a lot more damage than 2.
Now, is Seth telegraphing that he's got, like a Trumpet Blast type spell because he has also been unwilling
to trade
anything?
Maybe. Has Seth had good opportunities to trade?
He's had opportunities to put a guy or two in front of a morph, or to, maybe put the Leaping Master in front of something, or...
Yeah, kind of force the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're Neal and your life total's this high, you should be thinking about those kind of cards anyway. Yeah. Because you know that you have bigger stuff than Seth. So you know if you're going to lose, it's going to be to Trumpet Blast, Barrage of Boulders, things of that nature.
Yeah. So one of the goblins jumps in the way of the Colossedon there.
Here's another morph. So we're still thinking that first one is an Ice Feather Raven, and he's still got mana up for it.
It doesn't have to be, but that would be my guess, based on the plays.
Well, if Seth draws a land here, it does kind of have to be.
He could go for it.
Oh, it has to be, or Neal loses. I just meant, it doesn't have to be Ice Feather Raven, yeah. I mean, he didn't want to trade it for Bloodfire Expert. I don't know, if it was a Monastery Flock or a Dragon Eye Savant, you think that would have been a good trade,
Yeah. So still no warriors, though, for Seth Manfield. You know, one of the things about Rush of Battle is that you can just swing a damage race where you gain so much life it doesn't matter what your opponent does, and he just doesn't have that luxury.
Have a lot of warriors in his deck.
He's looking for the combo kill here.
Yep.
He's going to do this, and he's going to go land and Rush of Battle.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do.
Assuming
so
it
here's
works.
Barrage of
We know that
Boulders.
there's a decent chance Neal's going to unmorph Ice Feather Raven and bounce up Bloodfire Expert and turn off the Ferocious trigger. And
Neal also has cards like Force Away available in his hand, too. Oh, that worked, though.
But he doesn't have the land for Rush of
I
Battle?
guess not. So he just wants to get in for a bunch here. This
he
is
gets
4,
he's
7,
got
8,
the
9, 10,
Trumpet Blast.
11.
Oh,
Did he
sure.
draw a Trumpet
He
Blast?
must have drawn a Trumpet Blast.
Yeah.
11.
There's no other way you make this play, right? Because I mean, it's not
it'd be
lethal,
21
and he'd be
damage.
facing lethal, so.
-6. Huh, this is actually really... So it's 21, right?
Right, but the Trumpet Blast is lethal, and now we find out if it's Ice Feather Raven or not.
Right.
And it looks like no. It looks like he's
It
conceding.
was an abomination. Wow. So Seth Manfield essentially combos off here.
Yeah, and that was a decent morph. You know, one he maybe didn't want to trade, though. I think that game would have went a lot better for him if he did.
Right.
I'm not saying Seth would have offered that trade.
Right.
But, you know, there's just different ways that
Wow.
game can go.
Combo kill.
Kind of what we thought would happen.
Yeah.
That
But
that did look like it.
But it was the full trifecta, right? He's like, I've got the Bloodfire Expert, I've got the Barrage of Boulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things had to come
I've got the
in
Trumpet
line
Blast.
there for Seth to make that particular play.
Right, because Barrage of Boulders is a card that Neal's deck basically can't beat out of Seth's, except Seth has one way to trigger.
By the way, there's also another combo kill that you could see, like something you could see Seth doing, which is just like, I have a lot of guys, I attack, I rush a battle, and then I just Trumpet Blast.
Sure.
You know, just the 7 mana, just like, +4 to all my guys.
Seth could also Jeering Instigator a big guy, and then
Borrow your
Yeah.
borrow your Ferocious for the turn. I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. So Seth Manfield now 1 game away from picking up his 3rd Grand Prix trophy. The guy's just a Grand Prix destroyer. Neal Oliver, though, wants to get on the map and be at the same level as Seth and being a 2-time Grand Prix champion. So now Neal, though, I have to say, though, the way that Seth won that game is typical of how Seth will win the games if he's going to win. And now Neal can completely try to change what he's doing and optimize his deck. Now, I don't know how much flexibility he has, but it's such a narrow strategy that there's usually ways to interact.
Sure.
He's got some flexibility in getting that Colossadon the hell out of there.
Yeah. Is there any fog effects in this format?
No. Thank God.
Why? Why'd you say thank God?
I just don't like fog.
You don't think formats with Trumpet Blast should have format cards like Fog?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
You're taking too
Yeah,
much.
Blinding Spray is the fog of the format.
And if Neal had a Blinding Spray, that would
That
be
is
excellent.
fog-like. That is true.
And that would be excellent in this matchup if Neal had a Blinding Spray.
He doesn't have one main or side.
That would be sweet, though.
I mean, even though Seth's deck is kind of aggressive, it's really more of the combo kill, as
It
we've been
is.
saying.
It's a setup deck.
Yeah, so if Neal even has counter spells, you know, if he brings in like a cancel, that could stop all of that from working.
He does have a Stubborn Denial he can bring in.
Counters non-creature spells.
Yep.
I don't know if Neal's deck is the best at triggering the monstrous either. The Ferocious.
It is not the best.
You know what Neal has that's pretty sweet against Seth's deck? Roar of Challenge.
Oh, sure.
Oh, that would have been insane.
Yeah.
That is actually
on his Colossadon?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's actually
Even
pretty
if he
sweet.
doesn't
That's
have a
the
big
Street
guy.
Sweeper.
Yeah,
you
even if
know?
he doesn't have a big guy, just to be able to kill 2 of Seth's guys, that's actually kind of okay for Neal. Just to keep him out of Trumpet Blast range. I could see that card being decent here.
Yeah, I really like that card here.
The downside, of course, being that Seth Manfield has 3 copies of those pump spells.
Oh yeah, no, it's not.
You know,
good.
one might not be enough.
There's really not a lot of. It doesn't look. There's a lot of stuff for Neal to do. He doesn't have a ton of room in his sideboard.
I mean, sometimes people go too deep. You know, you can just play your good deck and hope that Seth doesn't draw all of this.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Seth's not going to get in that much good early beats against Secret Plans turn 2 and then Morphs.
Right.
Neal's got 2 Secret Plans. Doesn't mean he's guaranteed to have them, but you know, he's about 50% to have one.
Right.
Do you think that Neal's also going to change his mentality as far as letting the game go long? Like, is he going to try to close the door
Yeah,
a little
that was
sooner
the one
this
thing in
time?
that game I didn't like. I thought Neal should have been sending that 6-5.
Right.
Trying to close that door as quickly as he could.
And I think he's going to be aware of that now.
Suddenly, Seth is like, well, I guess I got to let one of these guys go. I got to put something in the way of that.
Yeah, and I mean, there was, I think, 2 attacks where he sent 1/2/2 morph and then the morph and the smoke teller, but didn't send the 6/5 either time.
Getting a little too cute there.
Yeah, I think so. I think that you're happy to trade your smoke teller for the Bloodfire Expert. I think that 6 puts Seth in a chump block mode a lot quicker than 2.
Yeah, you're playing around what, like Bring Low, killing your
Yeah.
2/2 and getting in for a bunch or something.
Yeah, but you can leave both 2/2s back, you know? So if he bring lows one of them, firstly, it's already ambitious to bring low the morph, because it might just have 4 toughness. But even if he does that successfully, your Smoke Teller can eat a 1/1 or trade with Bloodfire Expert, and then you take 3-5 damage, you're at 18.
Yeah, and then you can reassess.
Yeah, and you can reassess from there, and you get to trade with a guy.
No, that makes sense.
I mean, I'd rather play around something that's going to actually win him the game, like Trumpet Blast, than play around a random bring low that I can easily recover from.
Sure.
You know?
Or
All right.
1 for 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 for 1. All right, so here we are underway in game 2. If Seth Manfield has a quick draw that Neal can't deal with, this thing's going to be done, and we're going to have a 3-time GP champ here.
Oh, look, he might have boarded in the embodiment.
He did bring that.
He did that last time
deck.
too.
Yeah.
It was a little better last time, though, I think. Although it does get in the way of Leaping Masters kind of indefinitely, which is nice. All right. Wanted to get that embodiment down first, then play the Thornwood Falls, and no turn 2 play again. He's got 4 Leaping Masters. None.
Yeah.
Nothing.
But that's
shows
a
up.
trade-off with no secret plans from Neal, considering he's basically playing a secret plans deck. You know?
True, true. Fair is fair, I suppose.
Yeah.
And a morph to follow up here, so a nice little start for Neal Oliver. What's a turn 3 play? Is this going to be a Hordling Outburst? He's got 2.
I love that card.
It's so sweet. It is not, though. It's a nice one. Watcher of the Roost can start pecking away in the air, at least for a while. And that is usually the way that these go wide decks win, is that they get damage in early just from playing creatures on curve, and then they finish you off by going wide where you
Neal,
can't
once
really
again,
interact.
not offering the trade, even though Seth's deck isn't good at trading. I think Neal may be playing a little too conservative. I don't know what that morph is. I mean, if it's 1,000 wins, I could see not offering the trade. But even if it's, you know, let's say like a Glacial Stalker quality card, I'd probably just attack there. Oh, well, this explains it. Okay.
All right.
It's a Monastery Flock, so.
Now, wouldn't you rather trade, though, than just have a Monastery Flock to block?
Yeah, but Seth would have probably took it.
He just would have taken it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, and that depends on Neal's hand, because it's not automatically wrong for Neal to race. He doesn't want to let Seth set up these combos.
Yeah.
It's a Hordling Outburst, boys.
But if Neal's got a handful
no.
of powerful spells that he can deploy, maybe he doesn't want to trade 2 damage for 2 damage, you know?
Sure.
That's hand. Despite having won these twice before,
Yeah, he's
you
a
see a little
shaky.
bit. You can see a little bit of nerves there.
Yeah, he's a shaker. All right, 5 mana down now for Neal Oliver as he battles with that unknown morph. He does not have black mana, though, so he's just going to take the 2 here. And what's the
Long shot
follow-up
squad.
here? Is it a squad?
Keeping the shields up here.
Somewhat, but this is what we talked about. The problem is the 0 power blockers aren't great against this horde of tokens. Like if the long shot squad goes away,
Yeah. But it's really not that much damage. It's what, 2 damage if he kills the long shot squad?
yeah, it's true. The embodiment matches up particularly poorly, though, against like Trumpet Blast.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much I
Monastery's
like.
okay, though.
I'm not sure how much I actually like boarding in that embodiment against Seth. Maybe on the draw.
Yeah, I
on
mean,
the
with
play.
4 Leaping Master, it's probably right, but he doesn't know that. All right, here they come, though. Everybody's in the red zone.
This smells like Trumpet Blast.
Well, I mean, you could make some pretty safe blocks. I mean, Monastery Flock can block Watcher, and you're not even scared of Trumpet Blast.
Right.
So then, I mean, maybe you just throw Long Shot Squad on a 1/1, and you just don't block the other 2
Yeah,
1/1s.
that seems smart.
I mean, if he wants to Trumpet Blast
Or you, I mean, wouldn't you gladly trade embodiment of spring for?
for 3 life, I don't think so. I think
Probably not. It'll probably gain something more later.
yeah.
He looks like he's blocked
Because I mean,
tokens.
if you're just killing a token here and taking 2, you're really happy with that. So I don't know why.
There's Trumpet Blast.
This is
So
weird.
he's basically just going to lose out on his embodiment here and prevent 3 life, right?
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
the difference.
I guess he's scared of Defiant Strike plus Trumpet Blast, because I don't know why the Monastery Flock doesn't block the Watcher. Save a point of damage.
Yeah, that seemed like a good exchange for Seth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like that block. If I'm Neal, I think my block is Long Shot Squad on 1 Goblin token, Monastery Flock on the Watcher of the Roost.
And then just say, sure.
And I don't block with the Embodiment Spring. If he wants to just bin a Goblin to deal me 2 when I'm at 19, or 20 or whatever, I'm good with that. And if he wants a Trumpet Blast, I'd rather not block with the Embodiment Spring.
Sure.
So I don't know.
All right, well,
better.
it looks like Leaping Master was the follow-up play here for Seth Manfield. And this morph continues to battle here, just chipping away at Seth's life total, but this could slip away pretty quickly here. from Neal Oliver if Seth draws another one of his mass pump spells. Okay, well, he found his black
mana. He must have one to just sort of fire one off so cavalierly there.
Yeah, I could see him having a second.
Yeah, he also could have just thought, well, this isn't getting better.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that too. A lot of times you think, well, they have to have a second, but if he doesn't, this lets him keep attacking if Neal doesn't really have anything.
Yeah, so he's got Barrage of Boulders, Aerostorm, 2 lands in hand. So now the Barrage is not live.
Yeah.
And it looks actually just kind of terrible.
Well, you're definitely just going to turn them, right?
Yeah, you just turn everyone sideways here.
That seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's easy. That part's easy. Block,
4.
yeah.
Oh, I know I felt the same way last game, but once again, I think that's 1,000 wins because I don't really get why it's attacking when it would be stopping 2 points of damage, and Neal seems very hesitant to trade it. I mean, it could also be Abomination of Good Duel like it was last game.
Yeah.
Something that gets substantially better when unmorphed.
And he can unmorph it next turn if that is what it is. He could even unmorph it if it's 1,000 wins if he's got extra land, but we're not going to find out.
No, we are. He's probably going to save it with Becoming Immense here.
Oh, yeah, right. So Become Immense.
Because it's definitely a good morph from how he's
playing.
playing.
Yeah, it is. It is clearly.
It's likely 1,000 wins, and if not,
if it's 1,000 wins, this would be terrific.
Yeah.
Well, this is if he has a land.
Yeah. But even if it's Abomination of Good Duel, it's still right to Becoming Immense it there. It's a 3/4 flyer. Stop this board.
Well, he's still just chipping away here, though.
Now I'm convinced it's 1,000 wins because if it was Abomination of Good Duel, he has a 6-drop. So yeah, it could be Abomination of Good Duel. It's probably 1,000 wins. There's maybe some...
He was really hoping to draw a land there.
Yeah, that would have been sweet for him. But he's still in a pretty good position.
He's not in a bad spot. This is where Jeering Instigator, those type of cards are just huge blowouts.
Yeah, Jeering Instigator would be a big swing here.
Especially because he's holding the Barrage of Boulders.
Well, he can't do all of that this turn. But if he takes it...
He can make his League Master fly over for 2.
Oh, okay.
Right.
You're saying just
play a morph.
And have a big turn next turn.
Have a big turn next turn, yeah.
Yeah, that could be really sweet, but it does give Neal another turn to draw a land for the 1,000 wins.
Also, Seth's got to be careful of his life total here. I mean, if that's a big creature underneath the morph, I mean, Seth's at 14.
I mean, Seth has to know that morph is a good card.
Yeah, he knows.
I don't know.
There's a land.
I don't know if he knows he has 1,000 wins. I don't know if he's putting it on that.
Right.
But he has to know that it's a good creature. It just got saved from an Aerostorm with a Becoming Immense.
Yeah.
And if it was sitting back to block, it would have stopped damage and been able to trade. And it's been attacking, not blocking. You know? It's been safely attacking every turn.
And there it is, 1,000 wins. Good call, Ben Stark. And it gets flipped up to bounce those 2 creatures. Neal not going to be too greedy here.
No, and this is the right play. You want to pressure Seth. You don't want to. You don't want to wait forever.
Yeah, Seth.
This already basically puts Seth in chump block mode right now. If Seth takes the 11, then he has to start chumping with his flyers on the 1,000 wins.
Right.
So he pretty much has to chump the Tusk Colossadon right now with a 1/1, and he falls even further out of Trumpet Blast range.
Yeah.
Or he has to kill Neal on his next turn. This is really putting the screws to Seth.
Yeah, I like this. This is a great turn of events for Neal Oliver. Seth Manfield falling further behind. And once you start chump blocking, any future draws of the Trumpet Blast, we mentioned it's a narrow strategy. This is what we meant. If he draws Trumpet Blast or whatever off the top, they get pretty bad. I didn't see what he drew this turn. We know 2 of the cards in his hand. He's got a Watcher of the Roost and also an Leaping Master. Seth's at 9 after chump blocking.
I'm going to be pretty surprised if Seth can get into 12 here. I mean, if you think about some of the best things he could do.
He only has 1 more Trumpet Blast.
Yeah, and we know 2 of the cards in his hand, right? Leaping Master and
Watcher. And there's a Monastery Flock to block anyway. Even if it was somehow chumping in this spot, but yeah. All right, so here's Bondkin to pick up a counter.
An ambitious Bondkin.
Yeah, this is not the position Seth wants to be in.
No. Nope, Seth is going to be forced to block next turn with something. If he has a white card in his hand, he could potentially gain 2 life.
Hey, he gets a bunch of chump blockers, and you know that Bondkin is another way that he can ferocious the Barrage of Boulders.
Actually, that's true.
That is true, but he needs to combo it with one of his mass pump spells, right?
Right.
Interesting.
And he only has 1 card in his hand that we and Neal don't know.
Right. Yeah, he's got a Watcher of the Roost.
Which I think is the Barrage, right?
It is the Barrage. It is. Yeah, we saw that earlier. I remember that now.
So if...
Secret plans kind of just in your face.
Yeah, and Neal has a Crippling Chill too. But in the event that Neal didn't really have anything and Seth top-decked a Trumpet Blast, this game would be winnable.
Yeah. But that crippling chill should be enough insurance here, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Like even a Jirian Instigator stealing the Colossedon isn't enough there.
I believe so. I mean, this is a pretty good attack for Neal.
Just forcing another chump block on the ground.
Yeah, like there's not really a benefit to holding the Colossedon
No,
back.
because it's just blocking one thing anyway, right?
If I were Neal here, I think I would probably, and I know this is going to sound a little bit biased because I know he has Barrage, but I think I would probably attack with both, and then I would crippling chill the Anik Bondkin during Seth's upkeep. The reason being, you don't want to just let him attack. You want to crippling chill, because let's pretend he doesn't have Barrage and he just turns all his guys. You block that and you take 5, you crippling chill it, you can block the Leaping Master and only take 3. So that's the play you want to make anyway. So I think you do it during his upkeep so that he can't just choose to outlast it if he has a reason to do that. And you do know he has Barrages, like he used it to win the last game.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that the only upside to holding it is that maybe you can tap a flying blocker to make sure you win with 1,000 wins. But I don't think you need to do that, because I think if Seth has to double chump with one of his flyers, and chump the Colossedon on the ground on the next turn, I don't think that's a game
The game just gets out of reach, yeah. Not with Oliver at 12.
But either of those plays is fine. Plus, you know he has 2 flying blockers anyway. But then again, if you leave the alpha open and he takes it, he's only going to have 1 flying blocker. But
Seth falls to 4.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I would do. I'm pretty sure I would crippling chill the Anik Bondkin during his upkeep.
He went for the Leaping Master instead, which is interesting because you kind of want him to dump the mana into that.
Right, because you have the Monastery Flock to block it anyway.
Yeah, and his best creature is the Bondkin at 3 power.
Yeah, I don't really see the advantage to tapping the Leaping Master over the Bondkin.
I think you want him to tap mana to make Master a flyer or just be able to attack with a lesser creature, but
yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's not a huge difference against everything. It's a pretty big difference now that he gets to get the 4th counter on it this turn, and then can maybe barrage next turn.
It is interesting because if he gets the counter on it and barrages, now the Leaping Master can't attack either, so it effectively would tap 2 creatures there.
The Leaping Master will stay tapped next turn, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, Seth would have to chump with the Watcher and a 1/1 token, and then barrage for the win next turn, which he might be able to do, if he Bondkins this
But
turn.
he needs to have barrage and Trumpet Blast.
Oh yeah,
right?
we're all assuming he draws Trumpet Blast or Rush of Battle.
And he needs how much mana to do that? 6 total on that one turn?
So like let's pretend, right, he pumps up the Bondkin here with Outlast, and he plays Watcher of the Roost.
Yes.
He then chumps both of Neal's creatures with Watcher and a Goblin token.
Yes.
So he then untaps
1, 2,
the
3,
4-power Bondkin and the 2 1/1s.
Yep.
And then he Trumpet Blasts.
He goes Trumpet Blast plus Barrage.
Yeah, that's 12.
So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 exactly. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, he could theoretically steal this game now with either Rush or Trumpet Blast.
He's got enough mana to do both.
Yeah, and he could have drawn it this turn, or he could even draw it next turn and still steal this game potentially.
He's for 1 damage here.
He's going to nibble away.
Sure.
I mean, he does get a little risky there.
No, he needs to get him for the 1 because he's not beating pump spells anyway. He has pretty much Xaxes. I mean, bounce spells and stuff like that.
Oh, because that breaks up his combo. Anyway.
Right, he has exactly 12, so you might as well deal the 1 here. It's like insurance in case Neal plays that comes into play tap, gain a lifeland or something.
Okay, so that's the Watcher of the Roost.
Right.
Does he have a white card now that he can turn it up with?
Well, he must, or he'd be down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now we got to figure out what that is.
What if it's Russia Battle?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going here?
Yeah. There's other things it could be. It could just be like an utter end or something.
Yeah. It gains him life
if
too.
It's Russia Battle.
The 6 actually makes it out of range for the 1,000 wins to kill him.
Yeah.
He actually isn't compelled to block it. Yeah. Wow. This could get interesting.
Yeah, this will get interesting. I mean, we know it's pretty much not a bluff. So presumably
the sickest bluff of all time.
So presumably he has a white card, but is it going to be some fairly meaningless white card?
Yeah.
Something like Utter End that he can't even cast, or is it going to be the Rush of Battle, which will probably win him the game?
We're going to find out soon. If it's meaningless, he is going to have to. Well, he could actually still draw it, right? So he still doesn't have to block the 1,000 wins in that case.
Right, and he still has
gets a little bit of insurance now, having 1 extra body.
And he has 2 flying chump blockers for it. So Seth can possibly win this game without Rush or Trumpet. And even if he can't, he doesn't have to draw it this turn.
So
he
is
has
that why
multiple
Neal
turns.
went for the Leaping Master on that turn, was because he wanted to be able to get through with the 1,000 wins here?
I don't know. I mean, but he already knew that Seth has a Watcher of the Roost in his hand.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see what happens.
I really didn't like that play.
Oh, so here's the big play.
Yeah, there's the attack.
There's the moment of
Here's the
truth,
attack.
of course.
We're still in game 2. Neal Oliver looking to try to get to a game 3 to win his second GP, while Seth Manfield says, I wouldn't mind having 3 GP wins on my resume. Let's see if he can finish it off here. He's a very big long shot to make this happen, but there are sequences that can happen.
Well, if he's holding Russia Battle, he could just win.
Now that we pretty much know.
Well, we don't know Neal's other card though, right?
Right, but if Neal didn't draw anything,
nothing else,
right? Now that we know Seth has a white card in his hand, you know, it feels like Seth suddenly has a real chance of winning the game.
It certainly does.
He goes to 6.
Wow.
Chump blocks the Colossadon.
He's got 1 Russia Battle in his deck.
And untaps and plays the combo.
Yeah.
And it looks like that might be what he's doing. I mean, not necessarily, because he's not going to chump earlier than he has to, even if he didn't draw the Russia Battle.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
So he's going to blocks here, so that...
right, so he has no opportunity to unmorph that.
Yeah, the big boy's getting in.
Well, we knew he wasn't... We knew this was going to happen, basically. What we're trying to see is whether he's going to show Russia Battle or not.
Yeah, what's the card?
Yeah.
What is the card, Seth Manfield?
It is the
utter end. And it doesn't do anything.
Yeah. So
now, does that do anything if he draws black mana here?
Yeah, it does. Because I mean, Neal only has 2 real creatures out.
Right. So he kills the flyer and then just has infinite
and he can start alphing and chumping the Tuscaloosa. Yeah.
All right. So
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm wondering if you can take a look at his list to see if he's got any untapped black mana sources.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's check that out.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a couple swamps.
Because he's splashing it, so.
This
could be swamps. Two swamps. So this could be a huge swamp draw here.
And he can still win the game by top decking the Russia Battle or Trumpet Blast.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. He's put himself in a good spot here to maybe squeak out a victory versus what's been a pretty nice draw here from Neal Oliver.
Even a Jeering Instigator, it doesn't end the game this turn, I don't think, but it would be a big draw because then next turn he can use that combo to win the game most likely. Even if he has to double chump, it's okay because then, you know, his Leaping Master on taps, he goes ahead and takes one of Neal's big creatures, plays the barrage with Ferocious. That looks like 11 to me, you know? Seth actually has a lot of ways to win this game.
This is really interesting stuff. I don't think Neal has anything
either.
Like, I think he's on empty here. We would have loved to see a morph there, get some card draw going, and maybe find a crippling.
Like, if Seth just bricked out completely here, I don't think he's going to be able to win this game through double chumping every turn.
Right.
But, I mean, Seth has a lot of ways to win this game this turn or next turn.
That's lining up his attack.
Well, I mean, it looks like it's just going to be the poke you for 1, you know, leave back double chump. So clearly it doesn't look like he drew the swamp or one of the ways to win this turn.
Right. But if he's bought himself an extra turn here, it could be huge.
Yeah, he could still win next turn. All of the combos still work. He's got the barrage, so if he draws Russia Battle or Trumpet Blast next turn, he still wins. If he draws Swamp for Utter End next turn, he's not in that bad a shape.
What is this?
I don't know.
Enoch Tracker Hardcast, the good old-fashioned way. Who needs morphs?
Yeah.
3/3 first strike. Can Neal find something to interact here?
Set Adrift.
He found Set Adrift?
No, I'm saying Set Adrift, Force Away.
I think he might have drawn second Secret Plan.
I think he did too. That's what I saw.
Yeah, it looked like that.
Such a dagger when you do that. So Seth Manfield at 1 life, forced to chump block.
And now
everything
is
from
Neal
here on
considering going into conservative mode?
Well, you certainly send the flyer, I think. I don't think it's unreasonable to not send the Tuscaloosadon anymore, because, I mean, it is effectively stopping a 3-power creature from attacking you, and it is only killing a 1/1. So, I mean, no attack here would be really unreasonable, I think.
Yeah, he's got a battle.
Yeah, but sending just 1,000 wins is probably the best play.
I feel like he's thinking about it.
I think since you're going to lose to the combo stuff anyway, I think sending just 1,000 wins is your best play, because I think the Tuscaloosadon basically stops Seth from having any profitable attack here.
Right, so Neal Oliver, his turn is play second copy of Secret Plans.
Yeah, I like that play.
He's not even going to play it. He actually just wants to represent other things. I don't think Seth is in a position to really play around anything.
I don't actually like that play, because if he does draw a morph to morph and unmorph, he's going to draw 2 cards.
Yeah, he has Force Aways in his deck, yeah.
Isn't Barrage of Boulders just your dead here? 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11.
That's just game.
Oh my goodness. Is Manfield about to win this game?
He stole it, and not with any of the cards we named, but with an Auriok Tracker.
An Enoch Tracker.
Enoch Tracker. Incredible.
Oh my God. Seth Manfield wins. Wow, he's a 3-time GP champ, and you can see why he ground out an incredibly close game.
And Seth shows him, wow, I had these black cards I didn't even use.
Wow, Seth Manfield, our champion here in Ottawa, grinds out an incredibly close game.
That was a great game.
Did not look like he was going to be in a position to win, but found himself in just that and sealed the deal for his 3rd Grand Prix trophy.
The main deck, Barrage of Boulders, was his MVP card. And you know, one of the things you didn't think about, you know, we're talking about trumpet blast. You can't trumpet blast in barrage, but you can Russia battle in barrage.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he had a couple different ways to actually